Have you seen in the last couple of days, given the storms and the power outages, have you actually seen more calls, more demand, more sales that quickly translate from certain parts of the country for your products?
It does. I mean, it's almost an immediate impact, and this is nothing new, right? If a hurricane or you've got the fire safety shutoffs out in California, major storms that roll through all the time, and we get these kinds of these kinds of demand surges. Obviously, with what's going on in Texas right now, it's a pretty serious situation. You do this in the summertime, it's one thing, but in the wintertime, it just is a whole host of additional problems. And I know there's a lot of people suffering down there right now. We're doing our best to get as much product as we can into that market. Yeah,
and certainly the residential piece of your portfolio gets a lot of attention, and I realize you saw strong sales in residential last year as well, but you do also have commercial offerings, and I look at that Enbala Power Networks acquisition that you did not that long ago as well. Is the expectation that whether it's in Texas or whether it's elsewhere, given what we've seen in terms of severe weather patterns in recent years, that is going to be something that continues to drive greater demand among utilities and I guess even local governments and municipalities too?
Yeah, I think the topic of power security, right, and reliability, this is what we've been talking about. And this is kind of the legacy part of our business is backup power. And whether that's for hospitals or data centers or the wireless cell phone towers or homes and businesses. We've been delivering those types of products for over 60 years. More recently, though, and you mentioned Enbala Networks, we're really moving into more of the energy technology space. So it's how do we harness the power of all of those generators out there? We have 2 million home standby generators out there permanently installed on homes today. And could those generators be called on? There's a lot of those in Texas. Could they be called on to help augment what's going on in the grid when you have these supply-demand imbalances? And that's really what the Enbala platform is all about. It's software that helps grid operators, that helps the utilities manage and better balance that supply and demand. So it's really, there's a broader story here of the grid and the changes that are going on with the grid around the decentralization.
So tell us specifically about how you are keeping up with demand. Can you, both from the manufacturing point of view, I'm thinking specifically for residential, the manufacturing point of view, and then the installation point of view. If I were in Houston and I ordered one of your products today, when could I get it installed?
20 weeks. And that's too long. That's 20 weeks. And that's a permanently installed product. I mean, it is a home improvement project, so there's a permitting process. There's contractors involved. In terms of capacity, we're and have been at full capacity here at our plants in Wisconsin, where we make most of those products, really since the pandemic hit. And so this is, you add on to that the active hurricane season, the fire season, all the storms that we've had, and you put this on top of that. We did announce we're opening another plant in South Carolina that'll be online here in the next several months, but we can't make them fast enough. And we're doing everything we can to supply more product into the market. And then again, installation services, you mentioned that, Tyler, getting the installation up and running. We have over 7,000 dealers in our network, but we need more. Installation is also backlogged. Inspections, gas meter upgrades, all the different trades that are involved in this, in the installation of this product. There's just a backlog of everything.
Do you expect that power and power security is going to play a role now in any kind of infrastructure deal we get this year, if we get one?
I think it has to. You talk about not just the extreme nature of weather and what that's doing to our grid, but you think about cyber attacks. You think of the other vulnerabilities that we have in our grid and the changing nature of it. You're going to have, if we're going to move towards electrification in our transportation, you're going to put a lot of different stresses on the grid that don't exist today in terms of charging EVs. You've got a whole host of changes that are going to happen, and technology and regulation are going to be the forces behind those changes. And so I think any kind of conversation about an infrastructure bill has absolutely got to include something around the grid.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.